Hello, my name is Anthony Arnieri, and I'd like to share a little bit about myself and why I would love the opportunity to study abroad in Italy this summer. I grew up in an Italian American household, and have been given some truly special values and traditions. And I first want to start off by saying storytelling is a big part of who I am and why I cherish the opportunity to study in Florence. It might not make sense right now, but let me explain. My dad used to always pull up these old dusty photo albums, and plenty of them. I mean, there was a whole shelf dedicated to them in our house. When he would bring them out, we got to hear a bunch of different stories. I got to learn. I got to learn about who we were, where we came from, who came before us. All these small lessons were kind of annoying at the time, but now I understand why he would sit me and my siblings down for hours to talk about these photos. If we don't take pride in our history, how are we going to pass on our most valued traditions? I mean, whether it was a Christmas photo, photo from Easter, baptism, my dad would never fail to tell you who was in the photo, and he would have plenty of stories to share. I honestly think the reason he would go so in depth with these stories is because he's so proud of who we are and our family's history. And it's true, like we're all extremely proud of who we are, and everyone should be. Everyone should be able to also connect on a deeper level to their own personal history or family's history to foster a sense of pride for who they are. I think being in Florence would immerse me in another proud culture that would share stories with me everywhere I go, stories I can really connect to. I can't explain all the parts of me that would connect to the rich culture of Florence and Italy in general, but here are a few. First, I'd like to talk about my religion. I am Catholic, and not only am I just a Catholic, I'm part of a Roman Catholic rite, or most people call it a normal church. Um, Family members who have been to Italy before have attended a service in the Duomo, and they said it's a surreal experience. They don't take pictures inside, but they have said some amazing stories. I'd really enjoy the opportunity to attend a mass in Italy and see how similar it is to what I know back home. I'm from a suburb outside of Chicago, and this is where most of my family settled after they came to the US. I really do think it would be so special to see how similar our Catholic traditions back home compared to those of Italy. And next, moving on, being from Chicago, I will say I'm spoiled with some great food nearby. And I will say I am a foodie. I love to cook, try new restaurants, and share food with others. Not only would I love to explore the taste of Florence, but learn more about the traditions of Tuscany, a surrounding area. One way I plan to explore this is through an important part of Italy's economy, wine. Without wine, Italy would lose over 1.1% of their GDP. It's estimated that Italy would lose over 45 billion euros in annual production. This economic boost for Italy has a rich history and a ton of stories to tell. After all, Florence is near a very popular wine region, Chianti. In my research, I found that there was more to Chianti than meets the eye. Each region of wine has its own restrictions: Chianti, Chianti Classico, and Chianti Rufino. So many very specific nuances in the wine production that create a different product and sells very different stories. Nuances in wine is actually a very rich history, history that is preserved by the government. And this is what I'd like to explore next. Whether it's wines, cheeses, specialty meats, the government plays a special role in preventing the tampering of historical lessons for each region. Here are a couple examples. Parma. Parma has specific aging deadlines, salting deadlines, and more to preserve the iconic taste of prosciutto di Parma. Parmigiano Reggiano, as most commonly known as Parmesan cheese, has a three-page document stating requirements cheesemakers must follow in order to consider their product Parmigiano Reggiano. Or circling back to earlier, Chianti Classico, to distinct itself from Chianti, Chianti Classico must be 80% of Sangiovese grapes and can be up to 100%. Very specific aspects each have special stories connected to them, from the beautiful history behind the breathtaking Duomo, or to the essential economic component that the tradition of winemaking has, or even how the government specifically regulates products to preserve their iconic high quality flavor of specific regions. I've researched all these topics and feel as though I have only scratched the surface. Hopefully, within 3 weeks there, I can connect more to my personal stories and maybe even create a photo album of my own with an abundance of stories to pair with it.